Comic books and books this week is just going to be comic books, and we really only have one thing to talk about, but it's kind of big, more on a cultural level than anything else. We're talking about the Rogue and Gambit wedding and the way things were supposed to pan out versus the way things are apparently going to pan out. And then we're going to juxtapose that with the current situation over in Spider-Man and Peter Parker and MJ and that whole relationship situation. So it's going to be a little bit of an editorial section this week, but still, let's talk some comic books. Hello nerds, welcome to the Clips channel. This is a clip, as if the channel name was not specific enough. This clip specifically comes from a show that I do over on the main channel called The Week in Nerddom. We are going to be talking about comic books and books very specifically in this clip. So news from the last week that has to do with everything comic books and books. Generally more on the comic book side because the books side of things is kind of a little bit more slow going when it comes to nerdy content, but we do still cover it. So that being said, I appreciate you joining me. Let's get into the news. Comic books and books this week. So we have a follow-up on a situation that we mentioned in passing, I'm pretty sure. We might not have mentioned it at all, but I'm like 80% certain we actually did. Rogue and Gambit got married. This happened a little while ago. In the current arc, apparently was when it was supposed to end. So I think there's a quote in here. Tom Brevoort, executive editor over at Marvel. Oh no, there's no direct quote. I apologize. Either way, it's the information comes from Brevoort himself as he's talking with the community. So, and there's a couple of things I'm going to have to paraphrase in here because I didn't put them in the notes verbatim. But so Brevoort has said that in spite of originally intending on ending the Rogue and Gambit marriage in heartbreak, so whether that means one of them was going to die or they were just going to get divorced, because I don't understand. I don't know, but there was going to be some sort of heartache that was supposed to end the wedding, presumably sometime around this point in time with the way things are going. But Brevoort has said, I just lost my place in the notes. Seems the book sales are doing too well right now, so he's not ready to pull that trigger just yet. So they're not going to end their relationship now between Rogue and Gambit, though that doesn't mean that they're not still going to carry out these plans 6 months from now, a year from now. Eventually, we now know for sure that Rogue and Gambit are going to be, their marriage is going to be no more. So this is super interesting because we have plenty of, this has been a big fan outcry situation for a long time. Fans have just wanted Rogue and Gambit to get together, probably since the Chris Claremont days when he kind of created all that sexual tension between them. Gambit always hitting on Rogue and Rogue always shutting Gambit down. It was fodder for the cartoon. Most of us at this point grew up watching the cartoon, so we wanted to see that in our comics as well. And then we finally got it, like I think it was last year, towards the beginning of the year last year when it actually happened. And now that the books are selling well, they're like, oh, we're gonna keep this for now. Like, we're gonna do what you want because you're giving us your monies. But over on the Spider-Man side of things, Brevoort has explicitly denied that he thinks that this would create more sales if Spider-Man and Mary Jane were married again. If what is the Brave something, the arc that basically dissolved their marriage, their marriage never happened as of that arc. There's been crazy outcry from fans for that to be undone or for them to just get married again, because that too is the way like we expect I fully understand the relationship between creators and consumers is kind of volatile as it goes back and forth anyway, because if the creator only gives the consumers exactly what they want all the time, then they'll get bored and they'll leave it alone. But if they're combative with their consumers, then they'll just stop consuming the thing anyway. So like, you have to walk this super fine line. I fully understand that, but like, we are seeing right now in the Ultimate Universe how Spider-Man and Mary Jane being married does good things for sales. Ultimate comics don't usually sell as well as 616 comics. It's just, people just aren't into the side books as much as they are the main books. Right now in the Ultimate Comics, we're seeing pretty comparable sales for the Spider-Man book where he is married to Mary Jane to where the sales are in the main universe Spider-Man books. So the fact that those two are comparable really does say something, really does mean that if we do this thing, they're gonna sell more books. But Brevoort just doesn't see it that way. He has told fans explicitly that he thinks that it is a fantasy, that sales would increase if they did this one thing. So it's super, super weird. I think the takeaway I wanted to do from this is talking with your wallet works. Protesting with your wallet works. By and large, I think that Spider-Man is too popular for it to really be noticeable for people to protest with their wallets, just because moms are going to buy Spider-Man for their 5-year-old kids regardless, and that's going to just be one of the main factors that factors into comic book sales when it comes to a character that is that popular, right? One of the big three: Batman, Captain America, and Spider-Man. Batman, Superman, Spider-Man? Yeah, Batman, Superman, Spider-Man. Captain America's in the top 5. I don't think he's in the top 3, but those three, definitely the top 3 most recognizable superheroes across the world, right? So their books are kind of just always going to sell. So yeah, that's kind of where that sits, right? Is Brevoort's not going to see the sales dip enough when they do something stupid with a Spider-Man book, because Spider-Man's just always going to sell. But when you do it with somebody that's has a little bit more of a niche following, like Gambit and Rogue, you see that spike happen. And I wish Marvel would pull their heads out of their collective asses. That's, I think, the takeaway. There we go. We'll just end this little rant there. Let's talk about our suggestion for the week. A suggestion for the week is one that might be a little controversial. Immortal Hulk, the book that happened in the 2018 to 2021. Al Ewing wrote it. Artist was Joe Bennett. The main artist was Joe Bennett. And this is Dark Hulk. This is twisted Metal Hulk. This is before things got too out of hand in the Hulk side of the 616. I know before this they were definitely out of hand for a lot of reasons, but this run was pretty legit. So I'm gonna kind of cautiously recommend this one, because I know a lot of people have some really strong feelings on both sides of it. I think this is one that's worth at least a thumb through next time you're in your comic book shop, because Immortal Hulk is good stuff. And that's your suggestion for the week. Thank you very much, nerds, for tuning in. If you want to level up your nerdy, geeky, pop culture knowledge, then don't forget to subscribe and do all of the things. Go check out the main channel, Generally Nerdy, for the larger portion. Again, you get all of the sections into one convenient video over on Generally Nerdy. The name of the show is The Week in Nerddom. Thank you for checking out this clip. We will see you next time. Before we go, though, always remember that if it's generally nerdy, probably here.